You talk too much.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Music Rabbit Hole. I'm your humble host and music bus driver on today's musical journey. I know it's been a while since I've done this. July was kind of a crazy month with a lot of travel, a lot of getting sick, a lot of my daughter getting sick. So we're back in action here. Hopefully going to get some episodes out this month of the regular show. But I figured might as well. I've still been listening to music this past month, so I wanted to do another one of these monthly album reviews and ratings episodes like I did for June. And the idea is, hey, these are some albums I enjoyed this month, and, I'll play some clips of them and that sort of thing. And, hey, maybe it will interest you in going and listening to these artists more. I've got 13 to play today, and I'll give you my ratings. I'll tell you what the critics thought. It's all just my opinion, so there may be some albums here I love, you don't, or vice versa, and that is okay, because it's art, and it's subjective. Again, I encourage you to check out, if you're watching the video on YouTube, there's an audio version on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your content. If you're listening to the show and you want to see the video version, you've got it on YouTube. So a lot of different ways to consume the show. Regardless, I appreciate you tuning in to the July album review and ratings episode. So let's just get into it. And the way I like to do this, I go in reverse order for my ratings. So I start with my lowest rated albums and I move up. And I will say that July had some terrific albums. Some of my highest rating of the year came out in July. So I have no albums underneath a 7 for this month, at least from what I listened to. And keep in mind this one more thing before we get into it. There are some albums I missed, for sure, especially the ones that came out last Friday, like Beyonce's record and things like that. These are albums that I haven't had a chance to really dive into yet. So there are going to be some ones I may have missed from this past month. Only 13 rating today. All right. So we're going to go from my lowest rated to my highest rated. We will start with Steve Lacy from Compton, California. Of course, you may know him as part of the group, The Internet, the R&B group. He's a guitarist there. He released his debut EP back in 2017 and his debut album in 2019. Got some Grammy noms and some buzz. His second studio album came out in July on the 15th. The album is called Gemini Rights, and it's a 10-track alternative R&B, neo-soul type record, and I'll play a clip of it. So one of the songs is pretty viral. I'll play it. You probably know it's called Bad Habit. I'll give you 30, 45 seconds or so.
Wanted me, I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. What you do? Made a move, could've made a move. If I knew, I'd be with you. It's too late to pursue. I bite my tongue, it's a bad habit. Kinda mad that I didn't take a stab at it.
So
Thought you were too good for
my issue with this record was its highs are very high. I mean, Bad Habit's a great track. Sunshine is another great track. But the rest of it was, I'm not going to say low because it wasn't bad, but it was a record where you kept wanting more from this one, which is not a bad thing as an artist. You keep on wanting more. But I was just expecting a couple more bangers on this. You really only had a few. Some of the songs kind of, maybe he got in his head a little bit as far as a little too artsy fartsy. But for the most part, I'm not complaining. It's a great record. Critics gave this an 8. They were a lot higher on this than I was. I did 7.2 for this one. Again, Gemini Rights, Steve Lacy, still a solid. Anything above a 7, I feel like is a really solid album. And it's only his second studio album, so a lot more coming from him. I don't know why I keep trying to apologize to him or anything, because it's not like he's watching this. Next up on the list, we're hitting up August 08, who is an artist that has been involved with a lot of other artists and songwriting and things like that. They're signed to LL Sound, which is Janae Aiko's album, or her label. And the album here from August 08 is called Towards the Moon, and it dropped on the 8th of this month. It's a 6-track. It's more of like a EP sort of thing. It's not necessarily a full album. 6 tracks, R&B pop type sound. This is it's a 6-track EP, second half of his 2-part project, and also does some work with Def Jam. So this is an artist to look out for. August 08, still pretty young, I think. And let's play a clip of the song. Let's go with Impatient.
Standing in a burning house, always something to talk about. Fog on the window, baby, you can see. Trying to find a way around, you can only read about it. Wanna go, can do it out, and now I'm losing. I'm chasing you, running from me.
Tremendous vocalist. It's only an EP, so it's like, it's hard to give it a ton of ratings and feedback and things like that. Like the critics obviously didn't rate it. But there's some really great songs on here. Water Sign has Janae Aiko on it. That's a tremendous track as well. So for a 6-track EP, a third or half is really, really solid. And I think that's all you can really ask for. So critics didn't rate it. I gave it a 7.3. So if you want to get into that R&B pop mood with a tremendous vocalist, check out August 08's Towards the Moon. Next up on our list, we're hitting up Mama and the record Household Name that dropped, let's see, when did that one come out? That was on the 1st of the month. So all the way back on July 1st. This is a indie rock band from LA. This is their 3rd studio album, and I will play a clip of this. And by the way, this is on the Polyvinyl Record Company is the label there. I'm going to play a clip from Ripoff, Mama.
I always fall for a risky shot. If you pick up the tab, you can take me back.
Ripoff by Mama. You can tell it's been like a month since I've done this show. A little rusty. But like I said, I'm going to try to get back into the swing of things with regular episodes on Fridays. But yeah, Mama is the band. Household Name is the record. 3rd studio album. 12-track indie rock record. My favorite tracks were Ripoff and Medicine were the 2 that I liked the most. I was pretty in line with the critics. Critics gave this a 7.6. I went 7.3. Kind of an old school sound. There's some other kind of female-driven vocalist bands that released music this month, and so it's hard for a band like Mama to really stand out. But overall, the record, I think, is definitely worth listening to if you like in that indie rock album, like realm, old school type sound at times. But yeah, really, really, really good. That's really all I have to say about that one. Next up, we are hitting up Joey Badass, native of Brooklyn, founding member of Pro Era. 3 mixtapes, bunch of solo projects. This is I believe the idea was to be released, initially I think 10 years after, or 10 or 11 years after that original mixtape that came out in 99. But this is the 2000 album. that came out on the 22nd of this month. 14-track rap, obviously. I feel like you should know Joey Badass. Pro Era cinematic music group, Columbia Records, third studio record. And I will play a track off this one. Let's go with Make Me Feel.
Static selector.
When opportunity meets preparation, I'm going off like a detonation. I want it all, fuck a reparation. I do it all with no hesitation. Fuck a punchline, I hit him with a combination like the shit was second nature. Laying down the law like the shit is legislature. Alligator jaw saying ain't nobody greater. I bow my head and do my numbers like it's nothing major.
Make Me Feel, Joey Badass. The other track I liked off of this one is called Where I Belong. You know, I really enjoyed this one. I thought, you know, for me, the type of rap I'm drawn to is the storytelling. You know, there's obviously so many different subgenres of hip hop and rap and that sort of thing, and different styles. But with Joey Badass, I thought he did a tremendous job of, you know, storytelling and setting the mood and some introspective tracks in this one. It's not all just party music or things like that. Like, you know, he gets into some shit, you know. So overall a great record. I was higher than the critics on this one. Critics went 6.8. I went 7.4. I really do think this record is worth your time. And when I do these ratings and that sort of thing, like I said, I think anything above a 7 is the idea is it's worth your time to listen to. I mean, we're all busy. We all got a lot going on. It's hard to sit down and listen to an hour-long album when you got so much going on. So if I tell you a record is over a 7, that means, hey, if you sit down with this album for the next 45 minutes or hour of your life, it's going to be worth it. It's not going to be something where you're going to regret, oh, man, I just wasted I wasted my life. Next up on our list, we're hitting up Dawes, the folk rock band from L.A., been around since 2009. Put out a lot of music over the years. This is their 8th studio album. The album is called Misadventures of Doomscroller. Came out on the 22nd. 7-track album, but it's a longer one. A lot of these songs are 7-8 minutes long. Again, it's in that folk rock, indie rock type realm, and the label is Rounder. And this is a very interesting record, I will say. You know, it's like I said, when you have that long of songs, of 7-8 minute songs, it can take you in so many different places. You can have different sorts of harmonies and switch things up halfway through, and there's a lot to like on this one. The couple songs I like is Comes in Waves and Everything is Permanent. I'll give you a clip of Comes in Waves.
Up in a beach town and never learns to surf. Sounds like the perfect distillation of my time spent here on earth. But I have stared at the horizon.
Comes in Waves. The album is Misadventures. God, I can't say that word. Of Doomscroller. And the critics went with an 8 on this one. I went 7.6, so, you know, right around the same area that they did. I think the problem with having, you know, a 9-10 minute long song is if you don't like the song, you can get into some trouble because you're wasting the next, 6 minutes of your life. And overall, I think of the 7 tracks, 3, 4, maybe even 5 of them are really, really strong. The other couple just maybe they just don't hit as much, or they just not as catchy or things like that. But overall, 7-6 on this record is a great score and definitely worth your time. Next up on our list, we're hitting up beabadoobee. Man, I was like, I'm going to screw this up. Beabadoobee. The album is Beetopia. This is a Filipino and British singer-songwriter and has been around for a while now, about 2017, so 5 years or so, 22 years old. And this is a really interesting record. So Beetopia is the album. Came out on the 15th. It is a 14-track indie rock, space rock, indie pop type record. This is the second studio album. And there were 3 songs I really liked on this one. There's a song called 1036, a song called Talk, a song, it's called Love Song is another one on there. And Beetopia, a lot of collabs on this one. Worked a lot with Cavetown, the 1975 Bombay Bicycle Club. This is, a really positive, well-liked record. I think really is in that indie rock type realm. There's some kind of aesthetics and sounds that are familiar to those who do like the indie pop sound. Like I said, there's a it's a pure pop record. That's what I'll say. The song I'll play right now, I'll give you 1036 is the song. Beabadoobee, and the album again is Beetopia. Definitely worth your time. The critics gave it a 7.8. I went 7.7, right there. It's kind of fun when I'm right alongside the music critics, because look, music critic, what they're doing, is it that much different than what you say if you like or don't like an album? No, it's really not. It's just one person's opinion. They just might be able to say it in more flowery language than you. And as you notice, listening to my show, I certainly don't do that because I'm just a guy who likes music. I'm not here to, shower you in weird language and trying to sound smarter than I am and that sort of thing. I just like listening to songs and albums and giving you my thoughts, and hopefully you check it out. So that was Beabadoobee and the album Beetopia. Next up on our list, we're hitting up Pool Kids. This is their, I believe their debut. No, this is their second studio album, excuse me. But this is a self-titled record, also called Pool Kids. Came out on the 22nd, 12-track indie rock record. The track I like the most is called Talk Too Much. And I don't have a ton to say about this. This is a pretty small band, but I say that, but then again, Vanity Fair, who is a publication, they put out a whole article about the lead singer and about the band and that sort of thing, and they definitely are in that up and coming type realm in the pop rock area. So hey, if you listen to Pool Kids, you're gonna kind of be catching them before they really blow up. The song is called Talk Too Much. That's off the record here that I'll play right now.
You talk too much. I can't hear my own thoughts over your performative opinions. I'll take it up with all your little minions, 'cause they're afraid of you anyway. I think I'll pass after all, no one asked. I guess they don't have to get a piece of you tonight. Oh, I'll bet you're fun at parties. Bet you're the last one to leave. Why can't we call it even once?
As you can tell, super catchy. in that indie rock realm. It's a great record, 12 tracks. Yeah, again, if you listen to them, maybe you're catching them before they blow up. Just their second studio album, they're starting to get a little bit of coverage. Not enough critic ratings for an aggregate, but I went 7.9 with the Pooh Kids record. Again, it's self-titled, so it's also called Pooh Kids. We're about halfway through this episode, so I just want to take this time to quickly stop and remind you to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. I appreciate those that do that. Helps me out. If you're enjoying the video, go ahead and click the like button. If you want to leave a comment, of course, you know how to do that. And then subscribe. Continue subscribing to the show. As of this recording, even though I haven't really been putting out a lot of videos, we are at 2,892 subscribers. So thank you very much as we near the 3,000 mark. And then if you're listening to the show, like in podcast form, rate and review. I appreciate you if you do that. And just thanks for listening. All right, second half of the show here, we're hitting up one of my favorites, the Brooklyn, New York rapper, Kota the Friend. This is one of those guys that I feel like just gets disrespected in the rap game. I don't know that many people that are talking about Kota the Friend. And this is his 8th studio album. He's an independent artist, so obviously not attached to a major label that doesn't help him get more exposure. But this album, Memo, came out on the 8th, 14-track rap record. A lot to like about this one. Some of my favorite songs, Soho House, Father's Day, 365 Days of Peace. There is a lot to love on this one. So I'll just give you a clip. I'll play a little bit of Father's Day.
I hit the beach, played ball and sweated out all that bullshit under the palm trees. Today I ain't taking shit from no bitch. Over here we is focused, over here where the growth is. I'm the best dad ever, ho. Fuck what you say, my baby's already said it so. I'm the scum of the planet as far as Reddit go. Sheep niggas is everywhere, but I get it though. I give my baby all the love that I didn't get. Ain't a single day of living that it isn't said.
Father's Day, Kota the Friend. If you like the more laid back rappers, those, I know I keep using the same words, but introspective storytellers, Kota the Friend is for you. Now, he does have some more upbeat albums and some, little dancier tracks here and there, but this album in particular, just a indie rapper doing his thing, spitting some tremendous vocals, and a lot to love on Memo, Kota the Friend. I went 8. No critic rating on this one, I guess because he's independent and not enough critics maybe listen to it or something, but I went 8 flat, 8.0 score on this one. Totally worth your time, and a great record there. All right, next up on our list, I'm going to hit up Nina Nastasia. This is a LA singer-songwriter who got pretty big back in the late 2010s. Her last album was the 2010 album Outlaster, and has really an interesting story. She kind of left the public eye and really kind of just, like I said, kind of disappeared. But I believe it was based around, her longtime manager and partner unfortunately passed away at some point along there. And so this record in particular is an examination of their relationship, abuse, control, just kind of a really interesting journey into her mind and kind of this insight to this particular relationship. So the album is called Riderless Horse. It dropped on the 22nd, 14-track kind of chamber folk record. This is her 7th album. And a lot of songs I really enjoyed on this one. Just Stay in Bed, Lazy Road, Blind to Batsies. So let's give you a little bit of Just Stay in Bed.
I like it here in bed, don't push me out instead. If you miss me, I will pull down the sheets. There's much we can do here, alone or together. Whatever you please, it will please me, I'm sure. Right now I'm unhappy, and happy feels sappy. With you here beside me, something will rise, and the evening will fly.
Just Stay in Bed, Nina Nastasia. The album is Riderless Horse. And yeah, this one it's a little heavy, obviously, with the subject matter and kind of what she's looking into and discussing and that sort of thing. But I think it's a really great piece of art. I think it's something that if you go in with that kind of background knowledge and you kind of go in understanding that, hey, this is a little different type of album. It's going to put you in your feels a little bit. I think you could really appreciate it. The critics absolutely loved it. They went 9.3. I thought that was a little much. I think it's great, but 9.3 is, that's very, very high. I went 8.1 with my rating. Still a great score. But yeah, I thought, like I said, I really, really enjoyed this one as well. I think it's a journey. It's definitely one of those records that's kind of it's a journey, an emotional journey. It gets you to think about your own life and stuff like that. So yeah, great record there. We've got 4 left. We are going to be hitting up Beach Bunny and the album Emotional Creature. Again, Beach Bunny is from Chicago, Illinois. Indie pop, bedroom pop, power pop type group. And they've been around about 6 or 7 years. This record dropped on the 22nd. It's a 12-track record. The second studio album, this one on Mom and Pop Records. A lot to love here. I was so excited when this album dropped, when I knew it was coming and that sort of thing. I was, because I really, really liked Beach Bunny's first studio album and a lot of their other music, so I was just over the moon, excited, and it lived up to my hype. 3 of the tracks I really liked was Entropy, Oxygen, and Weeds. I'll play a little bit of Oxygen.
Back me out of this mess I can't help from constantly hiding all the feelings I'm finding within. Words out on the carpet and everybody's watching me. Wait for the pitfall, hit my face on a brick wall. They don't wanna see you the way I do. But life looks better through my worldview. Suddenly everything is easy.
It's an album of that. It's just every single song's a banger for the most part. All 12 tracks. I could listen to that album front to back and back to front. It's a tremendous, tremendous record. Critics went 7.7. I went 8.2 on this one from Beach Bunny. Really, really enjoyed it. And again, we're talking about 6 albums from this month, as you'll hear some of these next ones. 6 albums were 8 and above for me. So July was a fantastic music month. So hope you also got to listen to some of this stuff. We are in our top 3 of July here, and I will hit up now Ty Segall. Hello High is the album that dropped on the 22nd. 10-track psychedelic rock, acoustic rock, 14th studio album from the Laguna Beach, California artist. And, long time creating music since 2008. A lot of music to enjoy from Ty Segall. I'm sure you've probably heard some of his stuff. But I like to look at these records as like kind of as individual albums, not necessarily taking stock of the previous music, but just looking at it as its own thing. And this was an unbelievable 10-track record. 3 of my favorite songs were Over, Looking at You, and Don't Lie. Let's play a clip of Over. Ty Segall. The song is Over. And again, the album is Hello Hi. Most of the album is in that acoustic rock realm. I think there's maybe a couple electric songs on there. But yeah, if you like acoustic rock, especially if you like the sounds of, maybe the 80s or 70s at times, I think that's kind of the vibe I got at times throughout this record. Like I was thinking of, and I hate to just throw out their name, but I was thinking of the Beatles at times. Like I was thinking of some of their older songs and that sort of thing. And I thought there was some similarities and some crossover. And I'm not saying Ty Segall is as great as the Beatles because people will lose their minds. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying that if you like that sound, I think you'll like this record. Critics went 8.8. I went 8.3. And I think you will enjoy this one. 2 artists left for my July ratings. Number 2 in my top 2 is Alex the Astronaut and the record How to Grow a Sunflower Underwater. This is a Australian artist. She's been putting out music for 6 years. Debut album came out just a few years ago. And I was unbelievably impressed by this record here. Folk pop, folktronica type singer. Think, a little bit of Regina Spektor in there. There's a ton of storytelling in her music. And I'll let you hear some. There were 4 songs that I loved on this one. Growing Up, Airport, South London, and Haircut. I'll play you a little bit of Airport.
I took an empty seat, closed the door, paused and turned the key. Today I'm gonna see her. And the song that played was Phoebe Bridges. I turned it off cause I was jealous I didn't make it. You're in one of these planes, there's no way I should be driving in this state. Could throw up at every traffic light.
As you can tell, has a tremendous storytelling voice. The lyrics are I keep using the word storytelling, but it's true. She tells tons of stories. She name checks a bunch of other artists and shows. I mean, you hear her talk about watching Grey's Anatomy or Stranger Things or things like that. And so there's a lot of endearment in her music. There's a lot of you become her friend through this album, and you feel for her and her thoughts. And it's 10 tracks, but it blew me away. I listened to a lot with this show. A lot of the albums I listen to, I may be hearing this artist for the first time. I maybe haven't listened to a bunch of Alex the Astronaut's music or that sort of thing. So I'm kind of getting this first impression of her and her style and her music. And then I'll dive in after. But I like to just give a fresh listen and just form my thoughts off of that. And this one, I've now heard the record probably 5 or 6 times front to back, and every single time I find something new I like about it. I think there's even not stylistically, but I know I said Regina Spektor, but even some Bruce Springsteen storytelling in there. It's that's something that I love about his music, and obviously completely different styles, but I just think any of those artists that you like, just kind of not necessarily always happy music, but you want to just cozy up to them and let them tell you a story. Alex the Astronaut is the artist for that, and the production is tremendous as well. Critics didn't rate this, I guess. I guess being independent, just not something that the critics really get. But I went 8.4. 8.4. Alex the Astronaut, How to Grow a Sunflower Underwater. And that takes us to my number 1 artist from July. If you recall, for June, I believe Horse Girl might have been my number 1. And my number 1 for the year still is Kendrick Lamar's album for sure. But for this month, I'm going Maggie Rogers and the record Surrender. Dropped on the 29th. It is one of the few records I have been able to listen to from last Friday, and boy, have I listened to it. I have probably listened to it maybe 10 times. 12-track indie rock album. My favorite tracks, Overdrive, Anywhere With You, and Shatter. Let's just play you some. I'll go with Shatter.
Coming up for oxygen, the world's the same, but something's changing. You see it on the street again, lighting up the strangest faces, and it feels like they're sweeter than the best you've ever had. And oh, it takes me back to being 16, dancing like you're under attack. I don't really care if it nearly kills me. I'll give you the world if you ask me to.
Shatter, Maggie Rogers. It's just such a good album. Second studio album. Still a pretty young artist. I think 28 years old. And this is the artist who, if you don't know, there's definitely the background where her song got played for Pharrell during a music class, and there's a viral video. If you haven't watched that video, you got to go watch it. It's so funny watching him react to how good her music is. And that debut album, studio album, was really, really solid. Heard It in a Past Life, came out 3 years ago, did really well. This one I just adore. It is only the second album this year that I am putting in the 9s. Kendrick was a 9.3. Maggie Rogers, 9.1 for me. Critics gave it a 7.9. I went 9.1. I just, from top to bottom, it's a great record. It's again 12 tracks. There are some slower songs, more like In Your Feelings type songs. There's like your rock bangers, kind of like what I just played there. There's some instrumental breaks that are tremendous. The production is great. Her vocals, kick ass. There's just nothing really to dislike on this. I think my only criticism would be, I guess, the first couple tracks, it starts off a little slow, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't even really fully say that. I just think it is such a complete work of art from a tremendous up-and-coming artist. And I loved it. I loved it. You might not love it as much as me. I might be overhyping it, but for me, it was a 9.1. I loved it. Maggie Rogers, Surrender. That finishes our July reviews. Again, there were 13 albums here. Steve Lacy, August 08, Mama, Joey Badass, Dawes, beabadoobee, Pool Kids, Kota the Friend, Nina Nastasia, Beach Bunny, Ty Segall, Alex the Astronaut, and Maggie Rogers. Honorable mentions, of course, Beyonce. People love her new record. I just haven't had a chance to dive in. I think it's like an hour and a half long or something. There's a few others, of course, that came out this month that I haven't had a chance to listen to yet. But like I know Jack White has a written new record and that sort of thing. But if you want to ever share any new music you're listening to, feel free to comment below. You can also follow the show on Instagram, _music_rabbit-hole. Continue subscribing and liking and commenting and all that good stuff, rating, reviewing, all the stuff you hear the people that make contents just tell you every single episode, and I will also say that. So appreciate you listening to this and watching this, and again, I'll try to get some regular episodes out this month. It's been crazy, but I appreciate you sticking with me and hope you enjoyed this special episode. I will see you next time. This has been another episode of The Music Rabbit.